Hi guys, welcome to the Citizen channel. I hope you're all staying safe and well. Please, if you are new to this channel, please push that subscribe button. We do everything City, past and present here on these little vlogs, so I do try and inform and entertain, and there's some links on screen as well for Facebook and Twitter where I do post loads of City stuff. So if you follow a friend me on there, I do check every few days and follow and friend everyone back. And if you do get a chance, please have a check out my film and TV channel as well, which I try and inform and entertain on there, and all the latest films and TV drama here in the UK and from around the world. So if you can check that out, that will be fantastic. Anyway, hope you enjoy today's feature. Right, welcome, yes, to our big match preview show as we look forward to Liverpool versus Manchester City, 4:30 p.m. on the 3rd of October 2021. Yeah, match day 7. Match day 7 we call it now, don't we? We'll be having a look at Liverpool Scouse neighbours across just down the East Lancs there, how they're doing, of course. We're trying to predict R11, which should be okay. And I'll also have a go at Liverpool's. I think I should do okay at that one as well, to be honest with you, looking at how they've been sort of fielding the teams the last 3 or 4 games. The match is being shown on Sky Sports, if you've got that. And, of course, City will show it on their channel, City Plus channel. It's a $1.99 subscription, isn't it, for that? That usually shows from midnight. Who's in charge? Well, we've got Mr. Paul Tierney, if he's your cup of tea. If he's not your cup of tea, tough. He's the referee for this one. Assistants, Lee Betts and Konstantin Zadikas. And the fourth official, of course, Mike Dean. Mike Dean's he's a good fourth official. I like him as a fourth official. He doesn't cause too many problems there. On VAR, we've got Mr. Stuart Atwell. And his assistant is a certain Mark Perry. Yeah, previous meetings, please check out my little History Boys feature when I look at Kevin Keegan's City visiting Anfield on the 21st of August 2004 to face, Liverpool under a new manager. A certain Mr. Benitez was just installed as the manager there. That was interesting. So, obviously, please have a check of my History Boys feature if you've not already done so. And, of course, last time out at their gaff with no crowd in, so that's probably why we won. I mean, at the press conference today, Pep was asked about the crowd. He didn't see anything spectacular about Liverpool. He just said it's better for both teams to have fans there. So there you go. I'm sure the media wanted him to praise the Kop to high heaven, but he wasn't falling for that, was he? Let's be honest about it. Yes, last, of course, it was February 2021, 7th of February, a long-awaited victory, wasn't it, for us? 4-1, no, that's pretty good. We did take our chances quite well. We didn't exactly batter them. We just were sort of a little bit better in front of goal than we normally are. But, another missed penalty, wasn't it, I think? But it was a 0-0 at half-time, don't forget, and it was Gundogan, who stuck us in the lead, made up for his penalty, and then Salah equalised, but we bounced back quite quickly with another from Gundogan, little Mr. Whippet, and a rare Sterling goal, yes, a Sterling goal against Liverpool. I'm not sure he'll be playing this week, though, to be honest with you. And a classic, wasn't it, from our own Phil Foden, of course. Overall, of course, Liverpool is not a great place for us to go. Whichever, if you go back in time, it never has been. We've played them 85 times in the league up to now. We've only won 14, so we've only won 14 of that. So it's not great, is it? That's not really a great percent. What's that? About 14% or something like that off the top of my head. We've drawn 19. And we lost a massive 52 out of 85. 106 goals we've scored and let in 176. Yeah, the odds to win the match, please check out my little odds show as well on Liverpool and go into a bit of detail as to what value there is knocking about for this match, etc. Please, if you can have a look at that, that'd be absolutely brilliant. City are actually favourites to win this one, which I'm a bit surprised by, to be honest with you. We're 7-5 to win it, but they were favourites to win the title, so I suppose the bookies are sort of playing it safe. Liverpool is near to 2-1. You can get 19-10 on Liverpool to win this one, which is very interesting. If you watch my odds show, you'll have a look why. And of course, the draw is about 13-5. But again, we do have a few little draws sprinkled about at Anfield, don't we? And most people are thinking it won't be such a disaster if this ends in a draw either. So as I say, please check out my little odds feature on Liverpool and City. So there we go. It's first versus second, isn't it? The classic encounter in the Premier League. Probably the biggest fixture of the season now. Don't let United pretend it's them against the Scousers. They might think it is the fans, but obviously we know deep down that obviously Liverpool and City is now the big game in the Premier League at the moment. I watched Pep's press conference. Yeah, he was lively. He was happy little chappy at the moment. He seems okay. He looks a bit more tan than I am, that's for sure. He looks well tanned. I think he's got a bit of that little cough he always gets every winter, every autumn, winter. He always has that little bit of a cough, doesn't he? I didn't notice it so much today, but I have noticed it recently. It's just nothing special asked as far as injuries concerned. It's just Zinchenko and Gundogan that are not available, so that sort of more or less helps us pick the team later on. And they tried to get a bit of a bite out of him about Raheem Sterling's form with City as opposed to England as well. But he just stated that he was excellent in the PSG game. Let's see if he starts him for Liverpool, But he did defend him as he will do. I mean, let's face it, that's his job to defend the players in these sort of press conferences. But he said his movement and everything against PSG was brilliant, and the space created. Yeah, to some extent, I don't disagree with him. If you've watched any of my sort of little shows afterwards, or tuned into any little vlogs I've done, or other podcasts, etc. I mean, I think he got in the right place at the right time. A lot of the time, it's what he did, but then he got there. That's the only problem. But we're not going to go on about Raheem today, are we? How's it going for Liverpool? Well, they're doing all right, aren't they? Got off to a pretty good start. Klopp's had a little laser, must have had laser eye surgery. Unfortunately, it worked, didn't it? That's the only problem. But so he's got rid of his old specs. I don't quite recognise him now with his new, without his red tinted specs on. 2 or 3 weeks ago, he was whinging about other teams' spend again, wasn't he? Having a bit of a dig at us and Chelsea. Obviously this limitless pot we've got to spend. So he thought, I mean, this was probably about, he perhaps a little bit happier at the moment, but obviously he was sort of thinking that, I think he's sort of telling the fans more or less that Liverpool don't expect too much, but I think that's just mind games, isn't it? Let's be honest about it. So he's had a bit of whinge about that. Obviously, most of the injuries are cleared up. They picked up 1 or 2 so far, and that's what did for them last season, as we all know, with the injury to. So let's face it, they've not exactly added masses to the squad, so they could have a similar problem this season if things don't quite work out. And obviously Anfield even became a bit of wasn't the fortress it used to be, was it, without the fans? I mean, there's some significance in that, of course there is, but all seems to be back on track now. They've played, obviously, 3 league games at Anfield. They have played other games as well, but of course, the fans and the media are back in. It's going to be our year mode, aren't they? If you sort of read between the lines. 1 or 2 major injuries for this one. Young Harvey Elliott, of course, is well out. You can sort of expect more excuse or more clippity if these start to get a little worse as the weeks go by. But as I say, he's okay at the moment. It's not going too bad for him. 6 games in the league unbeaten, so that's why they do head the league at the moment. They beat Burnley at Anfield, but only just. Burnley put up a good show. They beat Palace quite comfortably. And of course, that draw against Chelsea, they did everything apart from beat them. I mean, Chelsea down to 10 men, Liverpool threw the proverbial kitchen sink at Chelsea, but couldn't get the victory. So that was a draw. And of course, the last league game was drawn away with plucky Brentford, wasn't it? It was surprising a few people. It not surprised me. I always liked the way they were organised, Brentford, a good organised team. They caused all sorts of problems for Liverpool's defence, but likewise up front, the Liverpool trio was sort of back on form. I mean, Jota's in there as well now, isn't he? But obviously the old 3 regulars that they've had over the last few seasons are still there, and they caused all sorts of problems for the Brentford's rear guard as well. So Brentford keeper Ray had a particularly good game against them. So it could have gone either way, but the threat up front is still there. But obviously there's some holes in the back as well, so that we can perhaps make the most of that. Of course, he then followed that 3-3 up with an absolute smashed Porto, and it wasn't the easiest game in the world to play on European Champions League. They took Porto apart 5-1 at the end of it. Obviously, Porto were chasing a little bit, and Liverpool obviously took advantage. But it was a good, fairly strong team from Liverpool as well. But that must have been a bit of a good morale boost after the 3-3 at Brentford, of course, for Liverpool. So they come into this in not bad fettle, to be honest with you. It didn't look okay. As far as us, well, yeah, I mean, that trip to PSG sort of put a bit of a dampener on what had happened at Chelsea, obviously, previously. We only changed 2 players, of course, so we did field a very strong team against PSG, and we did play well. I mean, don't get me wrong, we played absolutely excellently against PSG. We just lacked that little bit of luck, or the goalie sticking a leg out when he couldn't have done stuff like that. When he perhaps could have drawn it in a couple of inches, and the goal, the ball would have gone in the net, but. Yeah, there's no doubt it would have affected our confidence, even though Pep is very upbeat about it. I'm sure he's tried to relay that to the players, but any defeat is going to knock your confidence a little bit. And let's be honest about it. As I said, we won 4-1 at Anfield last year, but we didn't have any sort of mass majority of stuff over, like passes and possession. It was quite close. It's just that we put our chances away. So we're going to have to convert our chances at Anfield a little bit better than we did at the Parc des Princes in midweek, to be honest with you, to get a chance of getting something out of this. Yeah, so the players will definitely know we need another sort of Chelsea-esque performance. But against Chelsea, don't forget, we took a few little risks. We sort of left one-on-one at the back with their forwards, which wasn't too bad because obviously they dropped deep. But we can't be having too many one-on-ones with the Liverpool front line, can we? Let's be honest about it. I'd like a sort of an extra man somewhere along the line, but. Won't be easy to avenge. Obviously, they'll be out to avenge last season's 4-1 capitulation to us, so it's certainly not going to be easy. And of course, if we lose this, it'll be a 4-point gap, all right? Not a big problem this early in the season. It's only 7 games old, but I think the minimum we want of this one is obviously a draw. And I think that most people are sort of saying that if we can do as well as we did against Chelsea, then absolutely fantastic. But based on the fact we've got the international break coming up, it's something I don't really want to lose this. Personally, I think looking at the game, we could possibly lose this. Please check my odds show as well. There's a little bit more behind that as well in there, but. I don't want to go into the international break losing to Liverpool. Of course I don't. But it's going to be a tough one. I mean, this is my Liverpool 11. Let me know what you think anyway. I mean, obviously Jones played against Porto. He's sort of likely to continue with doubts, of course, over Elliott. He won't be playing. TAA, Trent Alexander-Arnold, of course, is out, isn't he? Milner played. It's an interesting one. He played very well. He was actually brought off against Porto, but that's people I think he was brought off to sort of rest him for the City game. So obviously, in that basis, we think Milner might start that game. Jota's not done too much wrong, but obviously, I think Firmino will come back in for Jota as well. I mean, obviously, with his experience against City and obviously with Liverpool. So, my little 11, the Liverpool 11 is for me is Alisson in net, Milner, Matip, Van Dijk, Robertson, Jones, Fabinho and Henderson, and Salah, Firmino and Mane up front. Yeah, I don't think it's going to be much different to that. Do you? Let me know if you think there's 1 or 2 little tweaks to that could be made, but I think that's basically what we're going to see. And the City 11, I mean, it's more or less going to be Chelsea, surely, the Chelsea team. I don't think anyone worked their way into Pep's thinking with the display at PSG. So I've gone Ederson, Walker, Diaz, Laporte, Cancelo, Rodri, Bernardo, KDB, Foden, Grealish and Jesus. So that, as I said, more or less, that is the team. I think that started against Chelsea. I can't see any changes to that. I mean, you think anyone should be different to that? I mean, I certainly can't see Sterling starting. But you never know, do you? But no, I can't see that. And Torres for Jesus, perhaps, plays a centre forward with Torres. I'm not too sure. Yeah, I'll be happy with a point, to be honest with you, but I do expect normal service to resume. Obviously, my heart wants a victory. My heart wants at least a point, but yeah, it's going to be hard. It is the actual thing with Liverpool. Don't make too many mistakes. Don't panic. Just try and work and hard and press as much as you can. But don't, as I said, don't leave too many one-on-ones at the back because you know what they're like. They'll tear us apart, and that's as simple as that. But I do think you know, on the balance of play, I think Liverpool might win by the odd goal or two, but I'm fingers crossed. I hope they don't. I hope we get something from it. I'll be delighted if we can get a victory as we did against Chelsea. But all the sort of stats and everything's telling me at the moment the way it is. It's certainly after that performance by Liverpool in Porto compared to ours at PSG, they might just have that little bit of psychological edge. But we will see. We will have to be 100% at it, all our players, whichever 11 we pick. Let's be honest about it. Just a couple of quirky stats for the game. It's about three here, I think. Yeah, City haven't won consecutive league games at Anfield since January 1953. I don't think that's a surprise to any of us, is it? I mean, to be honest with you, Pep has lost more games against Liverpool's Jurgen Klopp in all competitions than he has against any opposing manager in his career, with 8. Meanwhile, of sides he's faced at least 10 times in all competitions, Guardiola's lowest win rate is against Liverpool, just 30.8%. That's won 4, drawn 4, and lost 5. Well, we can make that 1-5. We'll even it up a little bit, won't we? Liverpool's Salah has been directly involved in 6 goals in his 5 appearances against City. Yeah, a bit of a pain to us, isn't he? Anfield in all competitions, scoring 4 and assisting 2. Yeah, Liverpool, I don't worry about Liverpool at our place, to be honest with you, not particularly. But I think it's one of those games that they seem to, you know, even though I said we did get that victory last year, obviously they do hold the upper hand at Anfield, and perhaps always will be. It's just one of those things, isn't it? I always remember when Liverpool winning the title, and United always would runners up or struggling up there, and United would always do well against Liverpool. Obviously, but obviously they'd win the battles but lose the war. But yeah, I think we're okay at our place, but I think we do struggle a little bit at Anfield. But it'd be lovely to win back-to-backs, wouldn't it? Let's be honest about it. Matchday live, yeah, well, obviously that starts on the City Plus channel an hour before kick-off, continues at half-time, and goes a little bit after the final whistle. And this week, if you enjoy watching that, I do dip in and out of it occasionally. You've got David James and Julian Lescott are the special guests for the edition for the Liverpool match. As far as me coming back, I'll hopefully get the match report out. You know, a happy match report, and forget what I said about us losing by a goal or 2. Now we'll slaughter them. So join my match report. Hopefully, I'll try and get it out on Sunday evening, of course. But obviously, if it starts getting too late, I'll probably put it out on Monday. But so I'll be back with the Liverpool match report on there as well. But tune back in for that. And as I said, please check out my little Liverpool, City versus Liverpool odd show, my little City versus Liverpool History Boys feature. And I go back not so far back. You know me, I go back a long time sometimes, but only 17 years. Probably some of you out there would have been at the game and stuff like this, but just sort of look back at that game, and perhaps if you've got any memories yourself, just share them in the comments, etc. That'll be fantastic. Anyway, there you go. Come on, City, we can do this. Please, let's do it. Let's do another 4-1 would be nice, wouldn't it? That would be absolutely brilliant. But the worst, please, before the international break, the worst, please, just a draw. A draw at worst will do me. That's for sure. Let me know what you think. You predict me, your score predict. I'm not going to give you a score prediction. I don't tend to do that. But if you want to leave your score prediction underneath, please do so. That'd be absolutely brilliant to hear from you. Anyway, thanks for watching. I'm going to do the rest of the day. Have a great one. Look after yourselves, look after your friends, look after your families. More importantly, let's all look after each other. So we'll meet here again on the Citizens channel. Or if you want to have just a rest before the quest at Anfield begins, have a look at my film and TV channel. I'll try and inform and entertain on there as well. So we could check that out, would be great. Otherwise, if we meet back on here, all I ever ask you to do is please, and especially if you're going to Anfield, please stay safe, Blues. Come on, City. Thanks for watching. Bye for now.